And by 1920, the federal government is going to end the consumption and production of alcohol in the United States. And so what they're going to do, starting January 1st of 1920, they're going to pass what's known as the Volstead Act. The Volstead Act is a federal agency that is going to destroy all the alcohol that they currently can find in the United States, and then basically continue to enforce these laws. Now, similar to the war on drugs, guess how successful it was? Not very, okay? But here's kind of the first kind of picture of it. Prohibition is going to last from when it's passed in 1919 to 1933. Maybe get this down.
Wait, why is it 1919 if it went in place in
What's that?
1920?
Because it gets passed, and basically from then on, the breweries are not allowed to make anything. So whatever they made, by I think it was like October 20th of 1919, they could not make any alcohol. And then from basically October 20 to January 1, they had to basically sell off everything. Yeah. And so people on New Year's Eve was having just an absolute bender. Yeah.
People definitely died on New Year's.
Oh yeah. What?
I don't know, I think it's
In the cities, the whole like New Year's Eve party thing is still a thing, as it is now.
Yeah.
But it was a lot more kind of low key. Really, when Dick Clark was doing his New Year's Eve festivity because of the 1956 TV show American Bandstand, that's really where it became popular. And really, it's kind of sad. There is no such thing that's even close to American Bandstand today. In the 90s with Carson Daly, there was Total Request Live on MTV. There is no such thing like that anymore. It doesn't exist. American Bandstand used to have basically the either current or up-and-coming bands play live. Then in the 1970s, for disco and funk, there was the Soul Train, which went around to the 1990s. So Soul Train and American Bandstand basically had up-and-coming groups, and then they would have high school students, kind of like Grease, and they would all have dance competitions. And then they had, and then Soul Train then had disco competitions. Yes, Ethan?
The lead singer of Train is from McDowell.
Whoa. You just figured this out?
No way. Since I was 8.
good one.
Wow.
Oh, Rachel's gone. I'm coming to Hey.
Me too, bro.
You played with this
Yeah, we
band.
all are.
Dude.
It's gang.
Mr.
No.
It's
so
No. If I had a newspaper right now, I'd smack you in the nose.
How much in the left? Say it.
So, what comes out of this, 1920, all the alcohol is then destroyed. Then we have basically the illegal activity that happened. Bootleggers are people that would sell and buy alcohol for people. And why they're called bootleggers is they used to put the beer or the jars of liquor in old boots, and they put them in the trunk of cars. And so more or less that way the bottles wouldn't get broken when you're being chased by the police. Yeah. Then you have rum runners. Rum runners is exactly what you think of. It's basically a fast sailing ship that you could beat the Coast Guard. Yeah.
One of my relatives, he passed away a little bit ago. He was actually one of the kids that helped with that sort of operation, loading the moonshine on the interesting.
Yeah, and then in the Appalachians, basically from Pittsburgh all the way down into about Charlotte, North Carolina, there was the moonshining, which happened in the Appalachians, which was always a thing, but it became very, very illegal at this time because it was between 95% to 98% alcohol. I didn't know that that's what moonshine is.
Whoa.
And the downside is people went from making it in barns to making it in the woods. And if the still exploded, you now have a giant alcohol fire in the woods. Probable boo, right? This is where Smokey the Bear, so only you can prevent forest fires, right? And that became a major issue in this program. This is also where NASCAR becomes a thing. NASCAR becomes a thing because basically bootleggers would be bored by getting chased by the cops. And so they said, well, let's see who has the fastest car. and they would have these dirt tracks, and they weren't just the round ones today. They'd have these dirt tracks in the woods, and they'd race each other. And then basically that kind of turns into the mainstream. And believe it or not, NASCAR races still in the United States have one of the largest viewing groups in the country because it's sandwiched in between baseball and football season.
And it's always like a long.
Down south,
But it's just
like,
cars.
if you're down south and you don't know who won the last race, it's you just
Earnhardt Jr.
you don't get it.
I'm going with the M&F car.
Tony Stewart just said that straight up hit it.
I'm going to.
Kyle Busch. Who died?
Tony Stewart hit someone, remember that?
I thought Dale Earnhart Jr. died.
This is what I thought.
Senior.
Hey guys, shh. Stop. No, I'm gonna show you a movie.
You're
Everyone can't shut up.
How did he? How much was the best? Thanks. Let's say hi.
So here's a quick 3-minute movie on prohibition.
January 16, 1920, the Great American Revolution came to an end when the Volstead Act was signed into law, which became the 18th Amendment to the Constitution. So began the Great Prohibition era, brought on in part by a decades-old grassroots temperance campaign organized largely by women that had already succeeded in banning liquor in 25 states. Now the entire country would go dry.
It's a lot of drunk
Everywhere,
alligators.
law enforcement officials set about enforcing prohibition by tracking down stills, dispatches, and disposing of them. Throughout the country, bootleggers' hideouts.
You go in this room and sit Open his mouth.
Unfortunately, prohibition had many unintended consequences. For one thing, it divided the country between dries and wets, those who supported or opposed the 18th Amendment. For another, crime surged as people turned to bootleggers to obtain their liquor. Supplying alcohol to a thirsty populace soon became the province of organized criminal syndicates, led by some of the most notorious figures in American history. The problems with legislating morality soon became abundantly clear as underground drinking spots, speakeasies, flourished as millions of Americans evaded prohibition and continued to party like never before. The glamour of the speakeasies proved a powerful attraction, and later research showed that more people drank during the 1920s than before prohibition. Alcohol-related deaths
Yeah, she's drunk.
increased substantially. In New York City alone, 700 people
That's just what I thought.
Girl.
Strong bull.
in 1920. Along the coast, rum fleets took to the sea to run booze past Coast Guard patrols and the rest of the Prohibition Navy, which was allowed to shoot first and ask questions later. The bootleggers and organized syndicates armed themselves and operated sophisticated networks. Some, such as crime lord Al Capone, made tremendous fortunes during Prohibition. In one 3-year period, illegal alcohol sales topped $15 million. Around the nation, local district attorneys struggled with a glut of prohibition cases, which sometimes took up over 50% of their time. Law enforcement was costing the country millions. Franklin Roosevelt campaigned against prohibition during the 1932 election, and it was a stance that helped propel him to the White House. Finally, in December of 1933, the United States admitted failure and repealed the Volstead Act. Prohibition, with all its lofty moral goals, had at last come to an end.
So, again, this only lasts for 12 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a long time.
know what to do. Actually, 12 hours?
Less than half of that time.
It's kind of scary. I really freaked out my mom one time. I was like, wow, I turned 25. I'm like a quarter of the way dead. She's like,
Do you think they yell cops to get?
There's no way you're going to be under.
No way. Anyways, women's role in America. For the first time in U.S. history, women are finally going into the professional workplace. Also, for the first time in American history, is we're going to see the birth rate actually lower.
You watch this?
Yeah. Families are having less children because both farms are becoming more efficient, more factories, more machinery. That means farmers have to have less children. And because people are now working in factories, because farmers are now working in because farmers now formally are now working in factories, you have to have less kids. Generally speaking, if you are a poorer person, you have both the husband and the wife now working in factories like that. If you've ever read like The Jungle, it's kind of a good example because both spouses are working in these meatpacking plants. Who in here is reading The Great Gatsby or has read or has since? Okay, so that's a good book to kind of see what we remember of the 20s, and basically what people want to think of the 20s. When you look just beyond like the ideals of The Great Gatsby, it's a little bit more of a more realer, deeper, kind of darker era. Is there some good parts? Absolutely, but you kind of have to be in a certain socioeconomic class. If you reach the middle class, or the upper middle class, or even the wealthy class, your decade is The Great Gatsby. Everyone else is kind of still kind of muddling around. The biggest thing that happens for women though in this 20s era, and again, if you know The Great Gatsby, you know this, is the nickname of flappers. For the first time in really human history, we're seeing women, just the bottom bowl, guys, just the bottom. We're seeing women now cutting their hair to shoulder length, and their dresses are now getting shorter. Just the bottom, yeah. They were called flappers because both their hair flapped in the wind and their now up to the knee dresses. Yes. Prior to this, basically, it was seen as obscene if you were if your daughter or your wife or your girlfriend was showing her ankle. My God. Okay. Now it's up to the knee. And people were just shocked.
Yeah, okay.
Now the thing is that when you think of like the images of the flapper, it's not like women for the entire decade of the 20s are wearing that stuff. That's basically like they're going out attire, if they're going to a club, if they're going to a speakeasy, if they're going to a dance hall, that's what they're wearing, okay? For the most part, they're wearing normal dresses that are basically down to their calf. What's that? I would assume dresses would be relatively comfortable.
Really?
Yeah, touch me in, it's kind of just falling around. Think about it like a robe. Robes are nice.
Especially with my hair. I think I've ever worn a robe.
It's overrated, honestly. You always feel like stuff's gonna fall out.
He's cheating.
No, I use my resources.
Turn around.
Cheating.
Same
Turn
problem.
around.
You ever noticed? You good? Good? So, in the entire 1800s, this is what women are looking like. Okay? So, you've got the 1830s, 1840s, 1870s, 1880s, 1890s. This is why bicycles at the swoop bar is so that way women can still pedal bikes with dresses on. It is a Schwinn. Yeah. 1920s, you now have
Oh,
dresses like this. This is actually out of the Sears catalog.
raunchy.
And if you notice, in the 50s, it's a combination of the old way and the new way with this catalog.
Cool.
So you have kind of the more full dresses, but the hairstyle is still there, okay? Now, the biggest thing that happens here is both the radios and the movies. Let me get this down. Movies become a really big thing. But the catch here is movies in this era, up until 1927, are all silent. They're all silent films.
What's the point of going?
What's that? To watch stuff for the first time on a screen. things that you could not see on a regular basis. So
Like the train.
what they would do is this. They would have music playing in the background. They might even have a live orchestra that would accompany the movie. And what they would do is kind of like a comic would now, is you'd see a screen of information, and they would have basically a text screen that would show you to kind of bring context. Or if someone looks like they're speaking, they might give them basically a text box in that next portion.
So like the original Tom and Jerry.
Yes, very much so. Now, how it worked was you usually cost between 5 cents to 10 cents, depending on where you went to the movie theaters. And you might be in that movie theater for 2 to 3 hours. And how it worked was this: you went in there, you went into the theater. This is basically same backdrop as it is now. You've got the seats, you've got the big screen. Generally, they had the screens there or lowered there for you. And first thing you'd watch is a newsreel of what's going on. So you'd watch basically the news happen on the screen. Next part, we'd watch a short film, which was generally either a U.S. propaganda or a cartoon. And then you'd actually watch your full feature film. Okay? Now, I want to show you a couple of these quick clips.
First movie ever was The Rocket.
Why did you turn around so much?
Watched it.
Is this like the time period like Charlie traveling?
Yes.
Charlie.
Yes.
Charlie in the truck.
So, this was the most popular cartoon of the era.
I still watch it.
Feeling Wallies.
And this is how they were formatted.
Wait. I'd love to live there.
This was a cartoon?
Yeah.
Oh.
This is Felix the Cat. Now this is how sound films would work. And this would be before the main film.
The first Mickey Mouse was on a flip book.
You know, it's very herky-jerky. And if you think about it, all of this has to be done by basically like a flip book. So they make this in motion. Every single thing, they have to make a different slide. So like this alone, I think, was like 10,000 pictures that they hand draw. It's all stop motion. So they take a picture, bring the next one, take a picture on top. And what they do is they have a glass backdrop. So the background is a glass picture, and then they put the illustrations on top of plastic carpet or glass carpet. Look at my eyes. Aww.
Wow.
So pretty boring. Okay. Now, 8 years later, eight years later, you get the first talkie cartoon. This is done by Walt Disney. All of the voices, all the sound effects are either done by basically like things around his house, and all the voices is Walt Disney himself.
Oh, I've seen this.
So it's last year. Yeah, I've seen this before. So it's just
Is that? Yeah, this is the first like we'll call it action short film by Walt Disney. This is the first time we ever see Mickey Mouse. Steamboat Willie.
Whoa. What happened to this guy?
Oh, and also, these are all for adults. Not for kids.
Is that true?
Yes. True.
He's actually true about it.
That's Steamboat Willie. Now, the most famous actor of this era
Actually,
Will Ferrell.
is Charlie Chaplin. Where he gets his stuff. Charlie Chaplin is the first great slapstick silent film actor. The character he plays is the one you see in the picture. He's known as the Tramp. He wore a shorter, a smaller than his head hat, oversized jacket and pants, and a tie, and basically he's a giant loser. Okay? He makes over 150 films as the Tramp character. He also makes one of the most famous movies against Adolf Hitler in 1940 called The Dictator, which is also his first spoken film. Prior to that, he basically did shorts. He did not copy his mustache off of Hitler. It's actually the opposite. Hitler loved Charlie Chaplin films and patented his mustache off of Chaplin's. He's the highest paid actor of the era by far. He directed, wrote the films, wrote the music, produced, and starred in them. He did everything. Okay? All of the basic cinematography that we think of with early films all comes from Charlie Chaplin. The guy was an absolute genius. And if you don't have Chaplin, all of basically the great comedy movies you think of would not be to this tier.
He made a building in LA, right on Hollywood Boulevard, and that's my brother lived in.
That's cool.
He like donated a bunch of money to make buildings.
Yeah, I do. 3 of them.
Now I'm going to show you a quick snippet of Chaplin's 1921 film called Payday, or 22, excuse me.
So, in today's money, how much are you making?
He would be making more or less the same amount of money as at his peak. Oh crap, what's his name? No money.
James
George
Franco.
Clooney.
George H.W. Bush.
Wow.
George H.W. Clooney. Dwayne The
Everyone
Rock
knows George
Johnson.
Clooney, right guys? Everyone knows George Clooney. He was in Interstellar. No, who was? I know, it was another movie.
Alright, so again, because of basic lack of technology, all of this has to be very, very physical. And if you notice, everyone's moving far faster than you can imagine because the film cameras are basically taking pictures very quick. So it's basically everyone's at like 1.5 times speed. No, he's late, so he's trying to basically kiss up to his boss.
It's so big.
Very simple, but it's okay.
George W. Bush. Whoa.
How tall is it?
It's like 5'6".
I am not 5'6", no.
Such a weird mustache. He's so ugly. It's the Wiz. Actually, it is.
Yeah, I do. How's he doing? Yeah, he's dropping the bricks, basically they cut and slice the film.
That's kind of brilliant.
They actually cut the film and slice it onto the film.
He doesn't have one of those big drop down and hit them and have him kill them. So. Or not. There's stuff off of them. Like I've watched after this.
That's how.
Third period? Or for that period? Charles White. Stashes.
I think so. It's a pretty big front porch. Just saying. Very real. We did put like black makeup paint in place of saturated colors and keep it like kind of. The problem is like the quality of the films. That's why they have kind of like the eyeliner. Is to kind of accentuate the eyes. Hey girl.
Keep watching.
Go 1 minute.